Put it all on red. No, wait, put it all on black. No, red. It's definitely red. What I'm talking about here is Vegas's version of timing the market. This is Alex Rivlin with the Rivlin Group, and today I want to talk to you about timing the market for the right time to buy and the right time to sell. So it's an interesting fact that in 2019, CNBC wrote an article that active fund managers are actually outperformed by the S&P index for 9 years in a row at that point. What does that mean to you and why is this important? Well, active fund managers are living day to day, eating, breathing, sleeping, tasting the market, listening to every analyst on investor calls, finding out what companies are doing, what innovations are coming out, and they're picking the stocks based on that. And yet, if you put your money in one of those particular funds versus just putting it in the market in general, you're actually going to make less money and more money by putting it in the market in general, which means that even people that are professionals at the deepest of degrees don't know how to time the market better than the market itself. So how does that translate to housing market and to your decision of if you should buy or sell right now? Well, if you're buying purely on speculation, maybe you have to think about it a little bit more. But if you're buying because it's somewhere you're going to live, it's somewhere you're going to make an investment in and rent, what you have to look at is the dynamics of the market as a whole. If you're investing in something, is the rental income enough to offset what your investment is? Are you getting a good cash on cash return, a good cap rate, or a good return on investment, ROI? Those are the elements that you need to look at. When it comes to if you should buy for yourself, you need to look at what are the comparative mortgage rates and the ultimate mortgage payment versus what the rent of an equivalent property would cost. Because we know that when it comes to paying rent, you are paying a mortgage, just not yours. So would you rather be adding equity to a landlord and putting money in their pocket, or would you rather do it for yourself? Now you might say, but what if the market crashes? So let's use that as an example. You spend $400,000 buying a beautiful home and there's a market correction or even a crash, which based on some of my last videos, you'll understand why I don't believe a crash is coming. However, if there is a market correction and it's a 15% correction, so the house goes down by $60,000, you might say, well, I wish I was with a landlord paying that rent so that way they could take this $60,000 loss. Well, is it actually a loss or is it just on paper? When are you planning on selling that house? If you're planning on staying in that house for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, the dynamics of that loss are going to be a lot different at that point than they are right in the here and now when you're down $60,000. The other thing you're saying is, oh, but what if I had to sell? Well, do you ever have to sell? If you had to move, if you were being relocated for work or something else, you may find that you can rent that house, and again, market rents are more than enough to cover your mortgage payment. So now you have somebody paying your mortgage, because once again, rent is paying somebody's mortgage. In this case, it now is yours by somebody else. So you're using that rent money, you're paying your mortgage off, and eventually you could sell it if you want, or you can continue to cash flow the property. Let's think about this. Would you be willing to have a stock like Amazon or Tesla or Microsoft or Facebook go down from time to time if you knew in the end that when you were going to cash out, you were going to be the proud owner of a lot more money than you started with? My answer is yes. So that's what you have to look at when it comes to the market. And remember, when you hear your friends talking about how they timed it perfectly, well, I'm in Vegas. I hear that a lot from gamblers. All my friends seem to win. They never talk about losing, but if you've looked at those properties on the strip, you certainly know those were not built on winners. As you can see from my many examples, timing the market is typically not going to be in your favor. If you're really interested in buying a home, look at the dynamics of what your position is right now, why you want the home, what the needs are, and how it's going to affect, impact, and change the life of you and your loved ones. This is Alex Rivlin with the Rivlin Group. We know Henderson.